Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with the powers. I'm Jake. In today's video we are continuing our top 100 favorite games in our collection. Today's video we are going to be taking a look at games 40 through 31, so my 40th to 31st favorite game in our collection. Now for this process I have used Pub Meeple. If you guys are not familiar with Pub Meeple, check out the link in the description below. Pub Meeple is a ranking engine where you can essentially tie your BGG account to Pub Meeple, and then basically what it's going to do is produce a list of all the games that you have as owned or collected in your collection with BGG. You hit a rank button and it's going to put these games side by side, and you're going to pick one game or the other, and then at the end when you're done it's going to produce this list for you. So that is the list that we have been using for all of these videos and for any future ranking videos. But let's go ahead and jump right into today's video, starting off with game number 40. Okie dokie, let's take a look at game number 40 here. This is Century Golem Edition. Now, this is the first one in that three-part series here. So, Easter Mountains was the second. This is the original and the first one. And this is my favorite game out of the series. We do not own the third one. We just own this one and Easter Mountains, but this is by far my favorite Century Golem Edition game that we do own. In Century Golem Edition, essentially it's a deck building, drafting type game where what you're going to do is you're going to have a starting hand of cards. These cards are going to be able to do different things like generate gems for you, or trading in one color gem to get different color gems. You will have the opportunity to draft more cards into your hand, kind of like a deck building aspect, but instead of like drawing all of your cards, you have access to all of the cards in your hand at one time. So you're just picking and choosing what cards you want to play, and then you can spend an action to kind of take those cards back. But it does have like a deck building or like a hand management aspect of the game here. And then the overall goal is there's going to be these golems here that are worth victory points, and you are trying to collect or amass the same colored gems to match these golems, and then trade those gems in to basically secure that golem. But I just think it's a super 8+, 2 to 5 players, 30 to 45 minutes. I just think it's a beautifully artistic game, right? These gems are amazing. I love all these gems here, and just a really sleek and simple game. This is a game that I'm always willing to bust out on a game night, like as a starter or something in between after we've just played a massive game. But this is my 40th favorite game in the collection, Century Golem Edition. Alrighty, moving on to number 39, we have Meadow, okay? Meadow is that, let me flip this over here. Meadow is going to be obviously a nature game where you are going to be playing these little wood chips here that you have, and then you will be drafting a card from one of these rows. And you are going to be building out kind of like a I wouldn't necessarily say a tableau, but you're going to have an area that you're building out in front of you of different animals and sceneries and different stuff like that. And you are trying to amass a bunch of different victory points here. Now, we have only played this game around 4 or 5 times, but we really do enjoy it. We have not dove into any of these envelopes yet, but I think what I really enjoy about this game is this combination mechanic where you have these cards that are just like base cards, right? So they give you like a land and an animal, and then what you can do is stack that animal, stack these other cards on top of that other one, but there's a lot of prerequisites that you must meet. So like you can kind of see in this example right here, you have like a beetle, right? And the bird would technically eat the beetle, so you would be able to put the bird on the beetle, and then you want to add some shrubbery to that as well. You must have a bird because, you know, the bird's going to fly into the berries and eat those berries as well. And so like, you know, another example is here, you need to have like a rocky area to kind of build this house. So you would build this house on this rocky area. So I love the ability to combine these cards and stack these different cards together to create kind of these picturesque landscapes per se with the game. And then it has like these little carton holders that you're going to put all the cards in, but it's a really cool, unique drafting game, drafting all these cards. Again, it's a nature theme. I do enjoy and love the artwork. We do not own the expansion for Meadow. I know there's Meadow downstream, and then I forgot to say Meadow is a 1 to 4 player game, ages 10 plus and 60 to 90 minutes. But this is my 39th favorite game in the collection here, Meadow. Alrighty, moving on to number 38, we have Pest, and this is a new game to the collection. Backed this on Kickstarter, and Pest is you are taking on the role, let me flip it on the back for you. You are taking on the role of a plague doctor, all right, and you are going around, this empire that you live in was struck by the plague, and so you are going around this different empire to different villages and towns and cities, and you are trying to cure people of this disease of the plague, and then kind of add some infrastructure to the game by building buildings and different things like that to help you generate some of these resources that you need to kind of help build this empire back up. But this is a classic Euro game, very heavy, massive table presence here, but I just enjoy the theme here of the game, the miniatures, all of the components. We do have the Kickstarter edition, which gives us these dual layer player boards. All of your resource tokens and things like that are wooden pieces and things like that, and I think that really enhances the presence of the game. The capital city pieces, we do have the plastic miniature. However, there were a couple issues with the game. The capital city miniature itself, a lot of the, when you try and put the pieces together, they don't fit in. And then the red color is actually a brownish color. They have acknowledged this in their new campaign that they're coming out with, which is going to drop in August. But enough about that. What I really enjoy about this game, like I said, is the theme and the mechanics, right? It's that classic Euro feel of you want to be able to do everything, but you can't. And it's a unique theme where you are trying to cure the sick people and then build some infrastructure to where you're putting them back into town for work. And, there's like an influence board. I really like the era aspect of the game, that within each era, so you're playing 3 eras, which is going to span over 6 years, and I like the aspect of you might get some aid from the empire itself to kind of help you, and then you have these different goals and challenges that you're trying to meet to score victory points as well. But this is going to be I believe this is a 1 to 6 players. Here we go. 1 to 5, 60 to 150 minutes, and ages 13 plus. This is Pest, my 38th favorite game in the collection. All right, number 37, we have 7 Wonders, and this is the second edition of the game here. 7 Wonders is that classic hand management, drafting, city building game where you are taking on the role of an empire. Everybody's gonna have a starting hand of cards. You will draft 1 card, place it in front of you, and these cards are going to be like resource cards, generate gold, technology, or fight, things like that. And then you're going to pass your hand to the next person, and then you're going to take this process down until all the cards have been drafted, and that is the end of essentially like one era, I believe, or ages is what they call it. And there's 3 different ages in the game. Again, the game is so simple and sleek. It's for 3 to 7 players, ages 10 plus and around 30 minutes. What I do enjoy about this second edition here, I love the cards, right? The backs of these cards, the bronze, the silver, and the gold. That looks great. The artwork here is phenomenal. And what I really enjoy the most about 7 Wonders is that I feel this is a game that when you add in more people, the playtime of the game does not really change. And I think that's great for a simple game like 7 Wonders here. But super easy to get to the table, super easy to teach anybody. Just a fun overall drafting game and a city building game right here. 7 Wonders, the second edition, my 37th favorite game in the collection. All right, moving on to number 36, we have Orichalcum. So Orichalcum is a game set in Greek mythology here, right? And so what you're essentially doing, this is a drafting and kind of tile placement type game where you're going to be drafting a card from a row here, and then this card is going to have an action on it along with a terrain tile piece, and then you're going to be placing these terrain tiles onto your own personal map board here, and then also taking that action. And the overall goal is to get 5 of these medallions, 5 of these victory points, and there's different ways you can do that. You can forge the medallion yourself, you can build temples, you can gain the favor of the gods, and they count as this medallion type. They count as a medallion pretty much. But once a player gets 5, they are automatically the winner. But this is a 2 to 4 player game, around 45 minutes, ages 12 plus. What I enjoy so much about Orichalcum is obviously this Greek theme, but I love the ease of play here. There's only 4 different actions. There's 4 actions that you can take. You have this battle action, the forge action, the hoplite action, and the gold action. Like, these are going to be generating your resource. These are going to be taking 2 actual actions. You have monsters that you're going to be able to fight. Some might pop out on these cards. When you take a terrain tile, that monster will come out there and you got to clear kind of that monster out. But it's just it's a cool, interesting game. It's easy to get to the table. It plays really quickly, and it's very simple to pick up and understand because there is only 4 different actions to take. So it doesn't really lock you into a whole lot of analysis paralysis, but it also gives you that freedom to build your island and your map the way that you want to. But this is my 36th favorite game in the collection here, Orichalcum. All right, guys, moving on to number 35, we have Dice City. Now, Dice City is a classic dice chucker game where you are going to have 5 different colored dice. You are going to have a board, and each board is going to be a row of one of these dice colors. You're going to roll those dice, and depending on what you roll, you will put that number and the color of dice in that corresponding row. And then you will activate these dice to generate resources, to take actions to buy new cards, to trade in these resources for like ships and victory points and things like that. And the overall premise of the game is to basically score the most victory points. And so there's a couple of different ways you can do that. Like I said, you can like have this army and fight against other armies. There's like a small deck of armies that'll generate you victory points. You can take these goods and send these goods on a ship to trade them with other lands, and that's a way to get victory points as well. And so you can also use these resources to buy different buildings or upgrade different spots that are already on your player board. And this is a 1 to 4 player game, around 45 minutes, ages 14 plus. Nothing too fancy here. This is just a simple dice chucking game, like I said. But when I first started getting into the hobby, I used to play a lot of dice chucking games when I was a little kid, and so for me, like, I have a affinity and a childlike affinity here with dice, any type of dice rolling games, and there's that nostalgia. That's probably the better word here. Just gives me some great nostalgia back into my childhood. And so simple, clean, efficient game, nothing too fancy here with this. Now, we do own 2 of the expansions for this game. We have can't remember what the expansions are. We have Royal Decree, and then we have the Crossroads expansion in here as well. And I do love these expansions, adding them into the game because they give it a little bit more pizzazz and a little bit more flavor, because some people might think the game is just bland. But another game from AEG, I don't know if you guys are following along with this list, but I do really enjoy a lot of games from AEG here. But this is my 35th favorite game in the collection, Dice City. Alrighty, guys, moving on to number 34, we have Project L. And I don't think there's anything on the back of this yet, so we'll open up the box and show you guys the rulebook here. So Project L is essentially another Tetris or puzzle game where you are going to have these different pieces right here. You will be drafting these different puzzles, and what you're trying to do is slot these pieces into these puzzles right here to complete them, and then they are going to score you victory points and also give you more pieces to fill some of these larger puzzles. All right, that is pretty much the entire game in a nutshell. And what I just love about about Project L is it's a different take on Tetris, right? Because you are kind of playing a little Tetris, but the game is super simple, super easy. Let me check the... I don't know if they say it on the box here what the... so this is the second edition, 1 to 5 players, ages 14 plus. I'd probably say this game is going to take you about 30 minutes total, but I just love how simple, easy the game is, very easy to teach. This is a great entry-level board game for somebody that has not played board games before, right? This is kind of on the teeter of being an actual board game itself, but just easy, simple, clean, and very quick as well. You can get multiple playthroughs of Project L. We do not own any of the expansions, but we have looked into getting expansion, but I'm thoroughly impressed with this game, so I'm not surprised this is high up on my list. Since we got this, we tend to play this one quite a bit. But that is my 34th favorite game in the collection, Project L. Alrighty, moving on to number 33, we have Botany. Now, Botany is a surprise for me that it is this high up on the list, but I do really enjoy this game, and this is another new game to our collection. And Botany is essentially a game where you are a botanist, and you are going around the world and you are collecting these different flowers and then taking these flowers back into your estate, and then that's how you're going to score victory points. This is a 1 to 5 player game, ages 8 plus, 45 to 90 minutes. Probably it's going to be more so on the net 90 plus minute side. This is a Euro game, guys, but man, I love the Victorian feel and just atmosphere and artwork of this game. The board itself is gorgeous, guys. It is a big map of the world. The pawns themselves going around the board just feels great. You have these event cards, which you're going to draw on your turn, and there's always funny events that either affect you or all of the players. And the game is super simple. You have a pawn. You're going to have a hand of flower cards. On these flower cards is going to give you a location, and you are going to move your pawn around the board, and once you end up in that location, you can then collect this flower and put it in your warding case, all right? And then at some point, your warding case is going to be full, and you're going to need to make your way back to your estate to kind of put these flowers back into your own personal garden. But the caveat is you're taking an expedition, right? That's the words they use. You're taking an expedition out into the world, and you need to fund this expedition. So while any turn that you end your turn out into the world, you're going to need to pay some money in order to continue to fund that expedition. It's only when you go back to the estate that you collect income that you have earned to then go back out into the world and do this expedition again. But like I said, I really am starting to enjoy this game a whole lot. I love the presentation, the theme of the game. It is very fun and simple. Just again, the purpose is you're going to these different spots on the board, collecting these different flowers, which are going to give you victory points, bringing them back to your estate, and then you can kind of upgrade your estate as well to give you some more victory points. But the first person to gain 12 reputation is going to be the winner here, and that reputation is gained by getting these flowers, upgrading your estate, and going on expeditions. But lovely presentation here with Botany, and a great feel mechanically to a game that I didn't think would be this high in my list, and normally not a theme that probably you guys would peg me to enjoy. But this is the 33rd favorite game in our collection here, Botany. Alrighty, moving on to game number 32. This is Leaf, okay? Leaf is a game of, well, the back has a really nice cover, so we're going to have to dive into the rule book here. Leaf is a game where you are going to be, not really sure what to call this one, but what you're going to be doing is you will be playing a card from your hand, which is going to allow you to pick up a shaped leaf. And these leaves are all going to be different colors, and then you are going to match the edges of this leaf to other leaves that are out on the table. So you guys are kind of building this pile of leaves, okay? And of course, there's different conditions on this pile and how you build them. Like all the edges must be touching. Leaves cannot overlap each other and things like that. But depending on how many edges touch these different leaves are the number of actions that you're going to be able to take. And each color leaf is going to represent a different action. And so we do own the deluxe version of the game. And I think that's why I feel that's probably why this game is such high on my list, because we do have wooden leaves, and man, they feel so good, right? I did have to pay a hefty penny for that. I think it was close to $70 US for this edition of the game, but it was really worth it to get the wooden versions of these different things. But the overall goal is you guys are going to be trying to score the most victory points, and there's a bunch of different ways you can do that by going up this tree here. You are going to have some leaf scoring on the back, right? Climbing the tree. You can put mushrooms on your leaves and of your color. That's going to score you points. You're going to be able to collect animals, all right? There's going to be animal cards, and you will be able to hibernate them during different phases of the game, and depending on how you do that, you will score as well. You'll be able to collect acorns, and then sun tokens can be traded in for acorns, and the player with the most acorns is the winner. But man, this is one of those games where, like I said, the components here really take this game to the next level and do it justice. But I also do love the uniqueness of the game where you're playing this card and you're picking up one of these different sizes and shapes of a leaf. And I probably should have mentioned the leaves are face down. So you don't know the color of the leaves, and like all the different leaves are different colors. So you'll have different colors mixed in with this shape and this shape and that shape and things like that. So you don't know the color of the leaf that you're drafting until you actually draft it. And then you're trying to arrange it to where you can kind of get the most actions possible on that turn. But I don't remember if I saw a play count here in the rule book. Let me see if I can find one somewhere for you guys. I do think this is 1 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes, ages 10 plus. Going to be more on the 45-minute side there. But this is my 32nd favorite game in our collection, Leaf. All right, we have made it to the final one of this video, number 31. We have Empires, Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. So Empires of the North is a fun civilization card game where you are taking on the role of a different clan here, and your clan is going to have its own specific deck of cards, and then you are going to be doing different actions to try and score victory points. And you know, you can use these actions to sail out to different islands and gain victory points and gain different bonuses. And you have these pawns, you have workers that you're going to be using. This is basically very comparable to a 51st State, if you guys have ever played that. But this is a ages 10 plus, 45 to 90 minutes, 1 to 4 players. Now we own, I think, every single expansion except the Roman expansion to the game. We own the Japanese and the Egyptian expansions, and it's just been a fun time. I always enjoy playing Empires of the North. Now the game can run a little long with the action system because I take an action and somebody else does and somebody else does and somebody else does, and there's a lot of converting and thing that you're going to need to do. But I just love the cutesy aspect of this game, that civilization. I love how each clan has its own specific deck and its own mechanics that makes it very fun to play all of these different clans. But this is my 31st favorite game in our collection here, Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. Alright guys, we have made it to the end of another video here. As always, if you guys own any of these games, please go ahead and drop down in the comments below what are your thoughts and opinions on these games. Smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and as always guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. Alright guys, have a great one. Bye.